Well, folks, it is that time once again where I emerge from the shadows. I let Tom take a break from his very thought-compelling videos. He's actually doing like amazing content talking about like Apple, the Steam Deck, the NFT video game. And I'm showing up like, all right, I'm gonna put in the bare minimum and story time. But you know what, actually? We're working on a video right now called What the Hell Are NFTs? That is going to be a big one. But in the meanwhile, I do want to share a little story of mine. I know I shared the Kingdom Hearts story about my parents, the divorce, why Kingdom Hearts meant so much to me, still does. Let's shift the tone from the heart-wrenching Kingdom Hearts story to something a bit more lighthearted. And because there's a new Pokemon coming out, it got me to thinking, oh, I should tell the channel, I should tell our viewers about the time when my mother hunted me down in a church and yelled at me for playing Pokemon. All right, there's a story behind that, and I'm going to share it all with you today. Let's begin. All right, it is 1998. I recall because the Atlanta Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Around this time, I was in like the 3rd grade, and Pokemon was emerging in America. I was one of the first kids at my school to get my hands on Pokemon, specifically the cards. I went to a place called Boohoodles. It was like this novelty store in my town, and I discovered Pokemon cards. I'm like, oh, it's like the cartoon. I'll buy it. I'll buy some cards. Why not? And I got a holographic Alakazam, and I was blown away. I was blown away. I'm like, it's so shiny. This is so cool. What even is an Alakazam? I haven't seen it in the show. I hope I can get like a Bulbasaur though. It was a weird thing where the actual Pokemon in the show that I've seen, those were more important to me than the ones that actually were like rare cards. So our dumb kid brains at my school didn't realize that at first. So I actually tricked one kid into giving me his Zapdos for a Bulbasaur because he put too much emphasis on the Bulbasaur. It was one of the greatest trade bargains of my life. I don't think I've ever actually come close to getting that much profit from such a trade. But Pokemon took off at my school. The cartoon, the cards, of course. The cards were a currency almost. And then of the one that really just blew all of our minds collectively was the video game, Pokemon Blue. I got it for my birthday on my Game Boy Pocket. And I wasn't proud to say that for the first week, I couldn't figure out how to get out of Pallet Town. I couldn't understand what the doors were in like the houses. I'm like, how do I get out? This game sucks. And I accidentally figured it out. I'm like, oh, now I can play the game. So my mother initially was the one who provided the Pokemon entertainment for me. She got me Pokemon Blue. She got me my Game Boy Pocket. She got me Pokemon cards. And this lasted for approximately a month, as far as her being benevolent and kind and giving me Pokemon-related stuff. And my mother, you know, she's, I'd say, like your, how can I say this? She's a mom, you know, kids should be studying, kids should be well-behaved. She's not like draconian with her rules, but enough to be concerned about kids getting way too stuck and fixated on, I guess in her eyes, addictions, which, hey, some of us kids were back then, some of us still are. Some of us never even outgrew it. We're still addicted to the Pokemon stuff. But after a month or so of me being all about Pokemon, she was like, okay, I think you have a problem, Steven, young man. No more Pokemon cards. You can't go to Boohoodles. You can't go to Batters Up, another card store in my town. It's gone, rest in peace. But above all else, she's like, and you cannot play that Game Boy as much anymore. I will take it away from you. You can only do it when you do work and schoolwork and homework and whatever, and I guess be sociable, Bible studies perhaps. I digress. All I know is that the Pokemon Renaissance period that my mother was cool with was in the rear view mirror, and now I had to be a lot more incognito. It was like the Prohibition, you know, but in my house and with Pokemon cards, where it's like, to my older sister, I'm like, I got this really cool Pikachu here. Take it. You know, don't tell mom. We have to conduct ourselves privately and incognito. Okay, so fast forward, like I'd say 2 or 3 months later, all right? I made the brilliant decision to go to church and to sneak my Game Boy along with me. Because I'll be real, church wasn't that interesting to me as a kid. I was like, I don't get it. I'm bored. I'm bored. Oh my God, it's only been 10 minutes. This feels like I've been here for an eternity. I would escape to the bathroom to like just get a change of scenery and walk around the church and then come back to the pew with my mother glaring at me like, where have you been? Where were you? You were gone for 10 minutes. Where were you? You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure there's folks in the audience who are relating to this right now with the entire like parents who are looking at you under a microscope, observing your every movement. Don't you dare lie to me. You did not go to the bathroom. So, of course, I did not go to the bathroom. And on this particular occasion, I did go to the bathroom, but I did so with my Pokemon game and my Game Boy. Okay, so it was like halfway through the service, Sunday morning, 11 a.m. service. So I'd say around 11:30 a.m. And I was thinking, okay, so she's that far into the service. She'll sit down for the rest of the sermon. I'm gonna go walk away. I gotta use the bathroom and I'll just play Pokemon. I'll play Pokemon for the rest of the service. That's the plan. So this church we went to was sizable, not like one of those mega churches, but large enough bathrooms to provide some guessing work. And I went to one of the most obscure bathrooms on site. I'm like, there's no way she'll find me. And I went to the bathroom stall and I sat down and I played Pokemon Blue. Of course, this is back in the day when like there's no backlight, so I have to like finagle the Game Boy just right to catch some kind of brightness from the lights in the bathroom so I can play. So I had about like 15 minutes of just amazing time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm skipping church kind of. Mom, she's none the wiser. Stupid kid brain, of course she is. I'm gone for 15 minutes. Of course she's gonna figure this out. But that wasn't on my mind at the time. I was like, I'm playing Pokemon. Enjoy the moment. So about 15 minutes passed and I'm like lured into this false sense of security. And all of a sudden I hear slamming on the door in the bathroom. And I'm like, there's no way this can be Mom. It's a boy bathroom. She can't come into the guy's bathroom. She didn't even say my name. She just walked into the bathroom after knocking on the door. I think she was waiting to see if there was any other guys in there. There was not, just me. She kicked the door down and she walked right up to the stall and I could see through the sliver of the stall her eyes like glaring at me. It was a horror movie. It was a horror movie. I held my feet above the toilet so she couldn't see my feet. I don't know how to this day, I'm still bewildered how she was able to laser down where I was. Was it a process of elimination where she went to every other bathroom in the church and did the same thing? And this was the final result? I don't know. But she found me and her eyes were looking right at me. And I was like, I'm a dead man. And I just opened the stall, without even trying to fight this. And she just looked at me and she put her hand out, and I just gave her my Game Boy. And she's like, you will never play this again. And the thing is, I was expecting screaming and shouting. No, it was just cold discipline and eyes like steel that cut right through my body. And I knew I was a dead man walking, going back to the church, sat down in the pew. And I'm like, dang, now I want to stay in church because as soon as we get in that car and go home, I'm dead. So yeah, I lost my Pokemon Game Boy, lost my Pokemon Blue for quite some time. And that is the story about how I brought my Game Boy to church and my mother, like some kind of serial killer from a horror movie, walked into the bathroom, the guy's bathroom. Mom, you have to respect that. No, she didn't care. She knew I was in there. She knew where her prize was. Seeing her eyes through that sliver to this day, still like a core memory where I'm like, I will never forget the horror I felt when she found me. I felt like a little mouse who was cornered by a tiger. And that's a story about how my mother tracked me down like some kind of bounty hunter. And here's the funny thing is that I know that I've talked to her in hindsight where I'm like, Mom, what were your thoughts about Pokemon? Why were you so against it? And I think she said nothing. I know she said something to the likeness of I was worried you're getting tunnel vision. You were addicted to it. And you know what? I think there's some validity because I would eventually go to World of Warcraft years later. And I definitely had like addiction for that. And maybe that's a story for another day. There's some pretty wild Warcraft stories of mine, like the time I lost internet in my house during a raid, and I went to the square in my college town. I took down Christmas lights to plug in my laptop near this cafe that had Wi-Fi just so I can keep playing in the raid. True story. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's me. Maybe I had the problem. Maybe I'm looking at this all wrong, where I'm like, Mom, you're the weird one. In reality, it's like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the weird one. No, I couldn't possibly be, as I conduct myself on a YouTube channel in my early 30s, right? So that's my story about my mom, Pokemon. Nope, that sounds dirty. That's, well, I didn't think that one all the way through. But yeah, I mean, if you all have any crazy stories of your own related to your parents, your upbringing with video games, and just the wild discipline that our beloved mothers and fathers and parental guardians would drop on our heads, let me know in the comments. And if you like these story time videos, let me know as well. I got more. All right, thanks for listening. I'll see y'all next time.